All right, you guys, we are going to go through a daily morning mobility routine, which is going to be full body cars. I'm going to try and not do too much explaining in this video as we go through it. More of just going into the exercises and doing them. If you have never done cars before, I suggest you go and look at the tutorials so that you get the nuances and details and cueing, because I'm going to do my best to do less explaining in this video and just try to get through the full body cars. So here we go. We are going to go into neck cars. Also, as far as equipment goes, if you want to keep a few yoga blocks around, you can grab them. You may or may not need them. But for our neck cars today, feel free to come to a seated position, kneeling, standing, however you prefer to do your cars. We start with neck retraction. Chin comes into the throat. Your chin will come into your chest, and then we're going to rotate to the left. That chin will trace along your collarbone to the left. Side bending that ear behind the shoulder. You should feel a stretch on the right side. Going into extension of the neck. Rotating to the opposite side, chin to armpit. You'll trace your collarbone and then chin to chest. We have 4 reps, so 2 each direction. Rotate, side bend, extend, stretching the front of the neck. Rotate in extension, chin to armpit, trace collarbone. 1 more rep each side. When you're rotating your neck, make sure you're actually rotating and you're not doing a head flop or roll to the side. So make that clear. Rotation, side bend, extension, lifting the chin up to the ceiling, stretching the front of the neck. Keep extension as you rotate, chin armpit. Last one to the other side. Side bend, chin up to the ceiling, chin armpit, chin to chest. We're going to go straight into scapula cars. And for this, you can be seated or standing, whatever is comfortable for you. And we'll have our arms straight ahead here. So your shoulder blades are what we're isolating now. They're going to go into elevation, lifting them up towards the ears. We go into scapular retraction, squeezing them towards your spine, depression, slide them down the ribs, and then protract, spread them away. I'm going to change my facing so you can kind of see what my shoulder blades are doing. Again, elevate, lift, retract, squeeze without extending in your spine or bending your elbows. Depress, slide them down, and then protract. Here's our reverse. Squeeze, depress, protract, elevate. Again, squeeze, depress, protract, elevate. Nice. We're going to go into shoulder cars here. And for this, I'm just going to do bilateral swimmers for time's sake. So you're going to create fists. They're going to come behind the skull of your head. You're going to first squeeze your shoulder blades into your spine and then lift your fist off of the back of your head. Extend your elbows and then rotate that upper arm bone in as you travel it into the back space, finding shoulder extension. Be mindful that you're not rounding your spine just to get your arms higher. From here, keep that extension as you bend the elbows, pull the fists up the back, fists touch the back, elbows come in. We reverse, squeeze, lift fist off of the back, extend at the elbows, upper arm bone rotates as those arms come behind the head, fists come behind the head, elbows come forward. Last 2 reps. Squeeze, lift off, extend at your elbows, internally rotate those upper arm bones to get into extension. Keep that extension as you pull the fists up the back. Fists touch down, elbows come in. Here's our reverse, pressing the back of those hands into your back as you squeeze the shoulder blades. Lift your fist, extend at the elbows, rotate those upper arm bones as they come behind the head. Hands touch down, arms come in. All right, moving on to our spine. These are spine cars. I'm going to come to a tall kneeling position, although you can still sit on your bottom or sit on some blocks or even stand up. You're going to cross your arms over your body here, and you don't want to leave these arms too passive. I'm actually squeezing my thumbs and pressing my arms against my chest so I can irradiate a little bit of tension here. First, we're going to flex our upper spine. I'm just going to face this way so you can see the positioning of my pelvis and upper back. We want to isolate only the rib cage, upper spine area. We do not want any pelvis movement here at all, or low spine movement here at all. So arms are crossed. You flex the upper spine. Rotate towards the right, twisting that rib cage over to the right. Side bend, dipping your shoulder to the top of your hip. From here, we go into extension. Try to find extension in the upper spine. And then we rotate in extension. Side bend, and then flex round forward. We have 2 reps, rotating to the left. Side bend, shoulder pulls to the top of the hip. Find that upper back extension, titties up to the ceiling, rotate to the right, side bend, and then we have 1 more rep each side. Rotate, side bend, extend, rotate, side bend, flex forward. Last rep here. Rotate, side bend, extend, chest up, rotate, side bend, and then flex forward. Nice. Moving on to elbows and wrists. You can come to a seated position just so you're a little bit more cozy here. Keep your elbows close to your sides. They don't have to be squeezing or touching your sides, but it does help so that we can keep elbows moving and not everything else. So palms are going to face you, and then your elbow is in a flex position. Squeeze your thumbs, squeeze your fist, create tension. You're going to rotate your palms down and then extend at the elbows. Rotate, flip, and then flex elbows. Again, palms face down, extend, palms face up, flex. Keep your palms facing down. We're going to reverse. So palms stay facing down. You're going to extend at the elbow, palms face up, bicep curl. Keep the elbows tucked in as you rotate those elbows, face them down, and then reverse, rotate. Great. Now we'll get into wrist cars. Thumbs are still in my hands. Charles, move. We have wrist cars. You're going to go into wrist flexion. Ooh, my wrists are so tight. You should feel a big stretch in the back of the wrist. From here, the wrists are going to go in, into extension, stretching the front of the wrist, out to the side, and then in. Again, extension, going out, flexion, and in. We reverse. One little note, because I have to say it. When you're doing your wrist cars, be mindful that you are not including elbow rotation as you try to mobilize your wrist. I have a watch on so you can visually see the watch facing going up and down. So you are not isolating your wrist if the watch facing is moving up and down. So keep your elbow pit and the inside of your forearm facing up the whole time as you isolate wrist. We reverse, we extend, we go out away from the midline, we flex, and then go in. Again, extend, go out, flex, and in. Awesome. All right, we are going to get into hip cars. Charles is going to go away for a second. And we'll be doing our hip cars in a side lying position. So for this, if you want a pillow, you can grab a pillow, a block for a pillow. Your opposite arm can lay flat. If you want to create a little bit more tension, irradiation, you can squeeze your other block. But legs are stacked. My right leg is currently on top here. And we are going to start with hip flexion. So top leg is going to sweep the ground. That leg is going to travel out to the side as I keep my hips, pelvis forward. You're going to internally rotate this thigh inward, and then the leg is going to come directly behind you into hip extension. Pull the leg in, knee meets the other knee to reverse. Exhale, tighten up the core, press it back, rotate knee up to the ceiling, and then keep rotating as it comes back into the front, placing that foot down as high up as you can. We have one more rep, sweeping the ground, abducting the leg. You should feel outer glute here, spiraling this thigh bone in. Watch out for dumping into your low back. No extension in the low back. Get it behind you. Pull the leg in. Knee meets the other knee to reverse. Exhale. You should feel your glute hamstring in this hip extension. You rotate that thigh bone forward. Keep rotating as the foot comes down here. And then we'll do the other side, our 2 hip cars. You can really do 2 to 3 reps of everything, but just for time's sake, I'm just going to do 2 reps for all the things. You can never do too many cars, so feel free to do these as much throughout the day as you need them. All right, so driving my bottom arm down into the ground, this just helps stabilize my upper half so I can get more out of mobilizing the hip and rotation here with this left leg now. We start to sweep the floor, feeling that inner thigh, hip flexor, leg comes out to the side, opening like a book. We then find that internal rotation without the help of our low back and pelvis junction. Leg comes behind you, pull in, knee meets the other knee. Exhale, reverse. Ask yourself, do you feel your glute and hamstring in this position? If not, you probably need to get out of your low spine. Swing this leg forward, rotating, trying to put this foot up as high as you can. And then we have one more rep here, sweeping the ground, abducting the hip, internally rotating into hip extension. Pull it in, knee meets the other knee. Exhale, tighten up that low core. Opening the leg out and stepping it as high as you can, lower down. All right, we have knees and ankles to finish off our full body cars. Let me fix my hair. Okay, so right leg, you're going to kind of give a choke hold situation here, pulling your thigh into your chest. I'm just going to put my foot down just so for recording purposes so you can see my leg. But also if you have like hip impingement pinching here, don't pull your thigh into your chest. First, we are going to rotate our shin bone to the right and to the left. So I like to keep my ankle in dorsiflexion, which just means to keep the ankle flexed so we don't get too wrapped up with the foot and ankle. You're going to rotate that shin bone to the right and then rotate that shin bone to the left. We want to minimize the thigh bone moving with our shin stuff because we're isolating knee from thigh. So make sure that's not happening. And then once you have gotten some good connection with knee rotation, you'll layer in flexion and extension. So you'll rotate out, you'll extend, but don't fully lock out the knee because your knee does not rotate if your leg is locked or if your knee is locked straight. We then rotate in and then drag the heel in. Again, rotate out, extend, rotate in, drag. We reverse, keep the knee rotated in as you extend, rotate the knee out as you flex. If you're hugging your knee into your chest, it would look like this. Rotate in, extend, rotate out, and flex. Rotate in, extend, rotate out, flex. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Your foot can remain on the floor, especially if you get any pinching in the front of the hip. Dorsiflex the ankle, keep it flexed, and then start to find rotation of your shin stuff, your knee. Make sure you're not cheating by just swaying your thigh in and out here. And then you'll add extension, rotate out, flex, pull that heel in towards the hamstring. Rotate in, extend, rotate, pop, out, flex. We're going to reverse, keep it out, extend, rotate in, flex, rotate out, extend, rotate in, and flex. Okay, we'll finish with ankle cars here. Feel free to prop your ankle on top of a block. Ankles are very similar to wrist cars. So with calf foot on block, you are going to go into dorsiflexion, so flexing at the ankle. From here, that foot goes in towards the midline, traces the inside of that circle to go into plantar flexion. You go out and away from the midline and then back to dorsiflexion. Putting your hand on your shin bone can help for feedback so that you can be aware if your leg starts to move with ankle. And then you'll reverse after 2 reps, going out away from the midline, plantar flex, really searching for those stretches, those sensations. Dorsiflexion, again, out, down, in, and flex. And then we have the other side, calf on block. Also, know that you can modify base positions in how you do the same exercise. It doesn't have to look how I'm doing it as long as the intentions are the same. So here we go. Plantar flexion, going in towards the midline, dorsiflex, stretching calf, going out towards the middle, ballerina foot. Again, going in, really tracing all of the outside of those circles, full range, find your in ranges. We reverse. Try not to move in the in-between mid ranges. It's just not going to give you a clear idea of how much range of motion you actually have in your joints. And then that was our last one, you guys. So those were full body controlled articular rotations. I always start my students and clients off with these, especially if you train with me in group settings or one-on-one. This is just the fundamental work. This is great to do on a daily basis. This is a great body practice and a great self-assessment. These can be done in the morning, at night. You can literally do them at any time of the day. If you want more instruction and cueing and information on these, like I said, go back to the tutorials. And then, yeah, you can kind of get through these a little bit quicker once you know how to approach the movement. Thanks, guys.